and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, and a banner week of toy news as we're gearing up to San Diego Comic-Con 2026, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and a whole lot more in today's video. But first, got to thank our friends over there at jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to get a deal out there. You'll see some of that tomorrow in weekly purchases as usual. But also, I was in there and I saw something I could not believe my eyes. I about fainted right there in their warehouse. But I did do a little video. I filmed a video. I'll post that on the channel. Probably already up for Patreon members right now. But you're not going to believe it. And if you're after some, let's say, classic G.I. Joes, Todd McFarlane, it's going to be your place. So check out that video on the channel very soon. Or like I said, on Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, the month of June winding down. It's almost over. And yes, you're right, Todd. I'll talk about it. It is my birthday this week, June 25th. Get your cards and letters in as fast as you can. But my birthday is around the corner here. But it is also the end of June. And Professor Pig Platinum Edition is the giveaway this month of June here in 2026. So check out the Patreon. A lot going on in the Patreon. Got some new ideas for the Patreon here. Working through them right now, we'll say. All kinds of stuff. Your best way to support the channel, but you get a lot of bonus content, early access to all the content, including my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show. Check that out if you haven't. You can find all about my golf outing. You find all out about it. It was quite the week this week, but more on that at another time. Check out the podcast, all that fun stuff. But that's it for housekeeping. Let's dive it in. Oh yeah, you're right, Todd. I know, one father to another. It is Father's Day weekend. If you are a father, and if you're not, hey, have a good weekend either way. Shout out to my dad as well. Dad, time to come back to the channel. I'm actually in a plot twist going to dinner with my dad this evening, so we'll see what happens with that. Maybe I can get a quick hello message. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll get nothing. Maybe I'll get stuck with the bill. Who knows what might happen? More on that, I guess, in the future. But let's dive into the news this week. Mattel WWE. Ooh, baby. Kicking it hardcore this week with Mattel. Mattel, 2 different reveal videos on the channel. Check both of those out. You can see all the new reveals from Mattel Creations. And then this week, we said, when's it going to happen? We knew it was coming soon. Kudos for Mattel keeping it under wraps until old Steve Forbes coming out of the cobwebs, dropping this at Forbes Online. It is the Cyndi Lauper, Roddy Piper, Captain Lou Albano 3-pack. Nice TV set. I did do a video on the channel. Check that out if you missed it. But that is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive this month, or next month, July. Yeah, there you go, July 2026. What is time once again? A lot of people loving it, a lot of people hating it, but guess what? We hear that no matter what it is with San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Some people love it, some don't. You hear people saying, why can't we do stuff for my generation? Some from that generation saying, oh, finally, they're giving me a Cyndi Lauper. I talked about it in my video here. Nothing against Cyndi Lauper, not my kind of music. It was before my time as a little boy. I wasn't into wrestling at that time. I was 3 years old when Cyndi Lauper was hitting the big time, something like that. So it didn't really catch me. I saw it later on VHS, DVD, streaming, that kind of stuff, but I wasn't living the magic as it happened. I'm sure if you did, or you back there, I'm sure you're absolutely loving it. It's a pickup for me. I'm here for it. I love Roddy Piper. Captain Lou, apparently maybe a different head. Roddy Piper, some new head there. We're here for new head all the time, but Cyndi is the star of this set. A lot of people saying now, I can't wait for the retro and the LJN and Ultimate Edition. I don't know if Mattel's going to go that deep on Cyndi Lauper, but you never know how deep they might go on Cyndi Lauper. That deep? I don't know. Maybe they'll be juggling them later. Who knows? Who knows? But we'll see what happens with Cyndi Lauper in the future. But we know we got a 3-pack. It's $80. Somebody in the comments said the set should only be $45. I'm not sure exactly the math on that one, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it resonates. Put your comments in the comments below if you're picking that one up. Not done over there. Mattel Creations did drop some stuff this week, and they put up that Hacksaw Jim Duggan Legends. I'm really looking forward to that Hacksaw. Me and Hacksaw, you know, a lot of people think I'm Hacksaw, Todd McFarlane. It's a wild thing. Big Show, AJ Styles, the Cowardly Lion, Hugh Grant every once in a while, which is weird. Of course, yes, John Holmes. Yes, we know that one as well. and a few others. But Hacksaw, people call me Hacksaw a lot. I missed out. Of course, those pesky meetings, and I'm in more meetings than I've ever been in my entire life going on right now. So I did miss out on Hacksaw. I guess I'll just have to wait for Target here very, very soon. We also saw Summer Geek Out, speaking of Target, invoking the name Target. Hopefully you guys took advantage of some of these sales this week, including with this, the latest Legends line with Diamond Stud, Crush, etc. That did drop it for pre-order over there at Target. And if you spent $40, you saved $10. So that's pretty darn cool if you could get that one there. But now we brought this out of the cobwebs. Speaking of cobwebs and Steve Forbes, we brought this out of the cobwebs last week. It's time once again for the conspiracy of the week.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
All right, it's time for the conspiracy of the week, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's true, but sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire, and we like to lean in on these things, try to get down to the answers, try to get down to the old brass tacks. That's what we're trying to do. But the conspiracy of the week, no, it's not Power Town. Todd farther from the couch, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Father's Day to Todd. We'll talk Power Town in a little bit. We got a huge update for them, as we usually do. But conspiracy of the week this week is piggybacking on last week's with the Macho Man Randy Savage. I said, something strange. Why are they discounting just Macho Man over there at Pro Wrestling Tees? 25% off everything Macho Man. Sometimes we see that kind of stuff when a talent is leaving. Danhausen, last day. Matt Cardona, last chance to get merchandise. You see some of that kind of stuff. Maybe they didn't do that with Matt Cardona. You're right, Tom Farley, but we've seen it in the past. So it'd be very interesting to see with Macho Man. Now this week, there was a little bit more gas on the flames, or on the fire, I guess, with Macho Man Randy Savage on the WWE YouTube channel. 24/7 Macho Man streaming all the Macho Man highlights. Now, not super strange because obviously they own the rights. They have the video. They can do whatever they want. Of course, they're going to try to profit on the Macho Man. But with Pro Wrestling Tees promoting Macho Man, now WWE going hard, 24/7 Macho Man. Could this lead to a San Diego Comic-Con announcement where Macho Man is back in the fold? Don't think we're going to have Macho Man for sale anytime soon. And if they announce he's back in the fold, that doesn't mean we have figures ready to go right then and there, I don't think. Of course, there's that Ultimate Edition Macho Man, but a little birdie told me those were all destroyed. Yes, you heard it right. A few slipped out, but the rest were destroyed. You can't just have those things sitting in a warehouse, thousands of units sitting there. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that from a little birdie that might know along the way. Yep, the same little birdie maybe that told me about AEW and who is taking over. Once again, I would share that if I could. I just can't believe it would be true, and it's not Mattel, but I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future with that. But I'm not sure what's going to happen with this Macho Man. It's very intriguing to me. Obviously, a lot of people want Macho Man back. We've been talking about it for years on this very YouTube channel. People work the circuit, then they go back to WWE, get their Legends deal, get their money, work the circuit over there, rinse and repeat. And I think it's about time for Macho Man to come home to Mattel. And we'll see where it goes from there. So more on that, but we're going to keep eyes on Macho Man shenanigans going around at all times. But keeping on going on here, we're going over to some of the other toy companies, grapplers and gimmicks this week. It's Aldo Montoya, Just Incredible, and Kim Chi. Looks like we'll have those in hand ASAP as they are starting to ship those ones out. A lot of people not liking Just Incredible, have to see it in hand. Very cool to get another Aldo Montoya. I don't know how many Aldo Montoyas the market is after with zombie sailors, but this one does look pretty good. Looks like there might be a little bit more details on this one. And Kim Chi is one of those sleeper spots in there. Of course, Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler, I think is where we're diving into this one. But you can stick with this with your Hasbro Kamala. You can get some reuse out of this one. And I always like these ancillary figures that go with some of our Hasbros of old. I think that is very smart. That looks very cool. Of course, Grapplers and Gimmicks and the Regime line, some updates on that with the Quebecers and Raven this week. Nothing really firm, just kind of some grayscale prototype process. But bring us along with the process. We're here, and yep, you're right, Todd. Trust the process. That's what they say. KWK this week, very similar vein. Shelton Benjamin, Tenru, and Mario Mancini. We got a little bit of updates on those ones around the corner. I've got to get around, hopefully this week. I'm looking at them right over there, the two Dory Funks. I wanted to wait for that third Funk, but I don't know. The power of the Funk compels me. Yes, we want the Funk. That's what they say. I might have to unbox those. Same thing with Laredo Kid. But KWK going hard as usual. A lot of stuff turning and burning with them. And some big updates here around San Diego Comic-Con timeframe for them. So be on the lookout for that. And then possibly the most controversial figures that are not named Power Town right now are Zombie Sailor Toys, Heels and Faces. Where's Owen Hart? Where is he? We were supposed to have him back in like February. It's been delayed. a lot of shenanigans, and it's actually crazy. I get asked about the Owen Hart figure more than the Power Town, and my brain says, my business hat says, because more people ordered the Owen Hart than the Power Town, obviously. But a lot of people want to know what's going on. Looks like till June 23rd, you got to get your address change in on Owen Hart. And Men on a Mission, who I totally forgot to order, totally slept on those, would not be opposed to picking those up. I got to think there'll be some stock available somewhere along the line. So we'll see where it goes with Owen Hart and Men on a Mission. But maybe coming this summer, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens there. Latoony, always turning and burning as well. I did order that Ric Flair. We'll see how that ends up looking here very soon. But Rick Martel's coming from Latoony. It looks like we're getting old school Strike Force AWA early version and model version coming. Would have to imagine it'll be in all the different series from Latoony. So we'll see where that ends up going. And speaking of big rubber guy stylings, you can't leave out the big rubber guys. Surprise drop this week with the Texas Tornado himself, Kerry Von Erich, but this time in red. Yes, red Kerry Von Erich. Get your order in. Shipping soon, but there's only so many available. They didn't say how many, but when it sells out, it sells out. Apparently, Kerry Von Erich coming. And then they did update us with the Sergeant Slaughter packaging. We're getting some very much themed packaging outside of the regular line. Makes a lot of sense. Takes away a little bit from the uniformity if you're lining them all up in release order. They had packaging that was very similar to now, getting a little bit more wild. I'm not sure if people like that. They don't like that. I'm not sure if they studied that at all. But it is what it is, apparently, at this time. Would have liked to have been maybe both in the background. You could put the wild Kerry Von Erich background, but you could also have the traditional one. It would have been nice to have an option. It is what it is, though. But we got those two around the corner there. And that's it for the toy news as far as wrestling, except for one on this Father's Day weekend. Yes, it's time for the Power Town update.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering?
All right, it's time for the Power Town update, and this is a wild one. Stick with me on this one here, as I do have friends. Yes, it's true, Todd, you're not my only friend. But down the street, down the end of my street, that really long street, like I live on kind of a long street, but it's a very quiet neighborhood. I'm about the youngest family in the neighborhood, which is wild to see. It's all old people at this time. We need to rechange over this. We need some more hot moms in the neighborhood, Todd McFarland is what we need. But I live on this long street. If you go way down the street, it's like a couple blocks to the very end, and then you take the right. There's a little cul-de-sac back there. You guys know what I'm talking about, and you guys that have been there know it. I'm sure you guys all know. You can check out my place. But around there's a family. That's the Porter family is what they're called. They're the Porter family, and they're pretty big into the toy news. They like to watch this. They like to watch weekly purchases, and of course, they say the podcast is weekly must-have viewing. I get it. I understand it. They don't really collect action figures and stuff, but they're very invested in a couple of these videos on the channel. Maybe you're the same way. I hear some people say they only watch the Power Town update and they don't watch anything else on the channel. Shame on them, but thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. And the Porter family really enjoys a lot of the stuff. And one of the things they just hang on the edge of their seat for each and every week is the Power Town update. And I say, well, Porter family, you guys are fun. It's always good talking to you guys. And yeah, it's crazy. They just can't believe the shenanigans. And it's like transcended action figures at this point. And they were like, what happened with Steve? He went to China. We know he was searching talent out there. He did. We got that update last week from the factory. There was that alien there in the factory. That was a wild, wild time. But the Porter family said, Kyle, you're not going to believe this. I have to go on a business trip, and you're not going to believe where I have to go to. And I said, well, Don Porter, actually, I don't even know his real name, Tom McFarland. I just call him the Porter family. Hey, Porter family. That's one of those things. It's like, hey, Chief, hey, Shooter, hey, buddy. You don't have to learn their name. You just say, hey, Porter family. And that's what I do. They got a kid, they got a son, and, no wife. I don't know what's going on there, but anyways, long-winded on this Porter family. I'm talking to them. They're going on this business trip. I said, well, where are you guys going? Well, it's summertime. Kids are out of school. We're going to make a jaunt of it. We're actually going to China. I said, really? China? Beautiful this time of year. Why wouldn't you go to China? First, he asked if I'd go, and I'm like, have you seen my schedule? Have you seen my Outlook calendar? I have no time. I don't even have time to pee in the middle of the day. I don't got time to take a piss. That's what I always say. If I was in Cincinnati, I'd have plenty of time, but I'm not, so I can't. But I'm so busy these days. So I said, I can't go. But they said, hey, we could check and see if we can find Steve. And I said, yeah, China, that's not a very big country. That's one of the smallest countries in the world, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Continent? Yeah, whatever. He's like, I'm going to go there. And he goes, this Lucky Group. And I'm like, man, you do pay attention to these toy newses. And he says, I'm going to go check out this Lucky Group factory, see if I can find Steve and see what happens. And he did do this. They actually went, they got there Monday this week. So, of course, filmed the toy news last weekend. They were there Monday. They've been there all week. They've been going all around. They've had some sesame chicken, General Tso's, all that stuff. All those favorites over there in China. What? They don't eat that? I know. It's just fun to pretend. They don't have Panda Expresses on every corner. What are we talking about, Todd? When have you been to China? What do you know about it? You ever been to a factory over there? Maybe once or twice? Well, I've never been, so I know more, of course. But they went out there and they went on an adventure trying to find things. And they finally got to the point in their trip where they were going to try to find the factory. They found the lucky factory. They got into it. And then, can you believe it? Tragedy struck. There was an earthquake. The ground split open. And you're not going to believe what happened next. And luckily, Todd, we got some film. Unexpected divergence on a family vacation. I feel so bad, and I feel like a little bit of it is my fault at the end of the day. But I told them if they could please bring back my friends Stink and Tasha, I think they'd be great around here on the channel. And I said I would gladly take them. But unfortunately, the Porter family lost seemingly forever. That was the last signal they got out of their phone, and they said this is what happened. I don't know where that song came from, but unfortunately, we're going to all say a joint prayer for the Porter family out there stuck in China. Hopefully they find their way back from, dare I say, the land of the lost. But that is the Power Town update on this Father's Day weekend. But of course, as our old friend Jerry Reed always says, all right, the news rolls on, and let's get serious, Todd McFarlane. It's time for YoJo June. Of course, it's YoJo June. It is the month of my birth, June 25th, once again. Of course, YoJo June to celebrate me. And as I said, a lot going on with G.I. Joes this week at jaystoysandgames.com and here in the toy news. But we did get a bit of an abbreviated short video this week from the Hasbro team. Apparently, they promised a longer one next week, so we'll stay tuned for that. But we did see a little bit of reveals, a little render action this week. We saw my boy Iceberg, an all-timer if there ever was one. Iceberg needed to be here, was on my top 10 most requested. Great to see that coming around the corner. The Toxo Viper, another one from back in the day I had as a kid. An interesting one for sure. Mistress Armada, we've talked about her before. I don't know anything about her. I think she's more part of the current comic books than the lore of old. But she's an Iron Grenadier, as we do know. And they even talked in the live stream, like, it's not exactly how she looks, but we wanted her to look with the Grenadiers. Thought that was very strange. I don't know why they even brought that up, because most people have never heard of the character. And now you're telling us, well, it's not the iconic look of the character, but she'll fit over here. I don't know if that's a good play or not, putting my sales hat on, but it is what it is. We also saw Rugged Duke. Of course, Night on the Town, Drunken Duke is what this is. They're finally starting to make figures of how these guys really are. And of course, Rugged Duke, rugged. Oh, he looks rugged because he's got facial hair. No, he's been on a bender for weeks. That's why he's Rugged Duke. He's been out at the Rusty Saddle, I think, doing things out there. He's at the bar, tipping it back with a few other guys that look rugged with him. We know what he's up to. We know it. It's Pride Month. Let's just put it out there. Let's put the cards out on the table. It's Pride Month anyways. He is on the Epstein list, though, as we do know. And he is a known racist, so I'm not sure how Pride Month goes. Duke is a complicated individual. We've all learned this by now. He's not the true leader of Joe's. We know that. But he's got a lot of different dynamics and a lot of facets. He's a very interesting study. I'm sure any psychiatrist out there would just probably, hey, you're so out there, I would do you for free in more ways than one. Who knows? Who knows? But Rugged Duke around the corner as well. We also got a mystery character named Synapse. They're inventing characters. Sundown, you know me, I love a guy in a Western shirt and a cowboy hat. I'm here. You had me at cowboy hat, that's for sure. But now we got Synapse. It looks interesting. He's got a little hand out there, a little jazz hand up in the air. I thought that was an interesting touch. We'll see where that goes. Maybe we'll get him fully revealed next week. Wouldn't be shocked to see that, or San Diego Comic-Con. We saw pre-orders this week for the Avalanche Response Unit team, one of those ones, Army Builder, I guess. And then we also saw our friend Dusty in Sandstorm. We're headed to the desert with Dusty and his trusty coyote, which looks like a Muppet of some kind. I don't know what that thing looks. I can't wait to get that at the table to dissect it. Not that way, not like frogs in science, But we're going to dissect that one because it looks like a Muppet. It doesn't look like a coyote that would instill fear in anyone. I think my dog Lemmy could take on that coyote. I'm just saying. And then we saw render reveals once again, and I'm a little mixed on this one. We are getting Falcon, and we're getting Falcon in his OG colors. That is definitely needed. That one was god-awful. I think if we did a worst classified figures of all time, that first Falcon would probably be on that list, unfortunately. But we're getting another Falcon. Of course, we all know about the nepotism with Falcon. We saw the G.I. Joe movie. We know what's up with that. But a lot of people are going to be happy about that one. The Valkyrie, I'm not happy about that one. There's about 1 million retro figures I would rather have than that one. That was a 2-pack once upon a time. They'll change the colors. Talk about getting the most out of your molds. Probably the most disappointing release I've seen in a long time from the classified line, at least in my opinion. Maybe you're different. Maybe you want to build a Valkyrie army. I'm not exactly sure, but I would have liked seen 1 million people before that one. And then we're getting Flash, which makes a lot of you original 13 people happy. There's so many people that obsess about that original 13. You like what you like, you don't what you don't. I know how I would understand it. I get it. I know what you guys are up to. But to me, that wasn't necessarily, I saw them, I knew them, I watched the cartoon, I read the comics, I played with some of the figures. But man, for me, it was the Serpentor years. And that's what I always call it. I love it all. I love it all. But there is those out there that the OG 13, that's their 13. And Serpentor, get the heck out of here. I don't care about that. I care about it all, but I like Serpentor era more. You bring in Sergeant Slaughter. You got, of course, Mainframe. You got all these heroes. That's a lot. You guys know I'm preaching to the choir here, I'm sure. So we got that going on. YoJo June continues next week. We'll update it next week as well. And then Masters of the Universe rolls on. I actually saw the movie again this week. Yeah, I did. I got some time, and I went to the $5 movie night, but it was a full of shenanigans. I'm going to tell you on my podcast all about it this week. Maybe by the time you're watching this, it'll be up on Patreon. Maybe not in the next couple of days. But I did see the He-Man movie once again. I'm glad I went again because I don't know if I'll ever have that opportunity again in my lifetime. And He-Man was such a special part of my childhood, my collecting into my adult years. And I know some people absolutely hated it. I think they look too deep into these things. Just enjoy for what it is. Yes, it could be better in spots, but it could have been a lot worse. You got to remember that as well. It was worth the time for me to see it twice. I think it's a good movie. So it is what it is. You like what you like. You don't what you don't. Have you ever heard that before? Maybe already in this video, Todd McFarlane. But we keep on, and we're going to Ram Man, of course, once again. And we got the Ram Man Moss Man 2-pack up there at Target. Target, for their Geek Out, put those on pre-order on Friday. Spend $40, get $10 off. Got to get a deal, of course. And I placed a lot of orders this week at Target. Did some of the return shenanigans from stuff from a couple of weeks ago. Rebought them at the discount. You guys know that whole game. But we got those two coming. We also got Man-at-Arms and Triclops. Ordered both of those as well. And then we got the Skeletor Sketch Edition coming. So some new Masters for Masters Universe month. I also picked up that Fright Fighter this week. I've been playing the long game. I said there's got to be a sale coming. And they finally got one this week. So I picked that one up as well. So that was pretty fun. And then coming this Thursday for my birthday, conveniently enough, June 25th. But in a plot twist, I'm not going to buy it. It is the He-Man Skeletor movie 2-pack. Doesn't seem to be enough meat on the bone between the versions we already unboxed on the channel. Somebody said the Havoc staff was a little bit different, but that's not enough for $50 for me. I mean, I can see people saying on-card collectors, it's a nice little representation of the movie. I understand all that, but I don't think I'm going to end up picking this one up unless somebody throws out there why it's so different from the other two. I think it's an easy pass. I would like to get that updated Skeletor with the better jaw and better color, but I'm just not going to pull the trigger on this one. That being said, we see everything at Mattel Creations for He-Man go to clearance. They have these sales. I've asked myself repeatedly, Kyle, why do you buy these things right when they come out? Why don't you wait 3 months and buy them all when they're $8 a piece or something? I may jump into this one, maybe play a little of that old-fashioned long game, maybe pick this up down the line. We'll see what happens there. And last, but certainly not least for He-Man and the Masters Universe this week, Mondo Timed Edition, I guess is what we'll call it now. It is Tila Orko. It is the 2000X line, the smaller scale Mondo. We're so used to the bigger ones. It's the smaller ones. I talked, I think it was last week in the Toy News, how I'm so mad I missed out on He-Man and Clawful. I might have righted the wrong on one of those this week. Tila is back up for order. They said it was like the fastest Mondo sellout ever. I remember it came up and I said, maybe I'll get it. And then I went and checked back and it was gone. I said, maybe I'm just not destined to collect this line. But Mondo did open it up. So if you're watching this right now, you have till very early Monday morning to get your order in for this one. So speak now or forever hold your peace. This is going to be a pricey one. And man, if it's anything like Clawful, it's going to shoot up on the secondary market. I did get my order in for Tila. So there you go. The more you know, folks. The more you know. Now we move on to our friends over there at Jada Toys, San Diego Comic-Con exclusives this week. We got a Kuma Player 2 version. Pass for me. I made the choice a long time ago. I'm not getting these other variant versions. I'm just getting the iconic characters. You got to draw the line somewhere. The line in the sand like a young Motorhead. You're exactly right, Todd McFarlane. You got to do that from time to time. But man, oh man, am I interested in this hand accessory head pack they're coming out with. I think this is genius for Jada Toys. I would love to see Marvel Legends, WWE adopt this practice and give us multiple head packs, like beat up head packs. I mean, Mattel has a million wrestler heads. Put bruises on them, put blood, give them some bloody noses, sell it at Ringside Collectibles as an accessories pack. You don't have to go as crazy as this one, but give us 5 heads, battle damaged heads. I think that would be something that would have some meat on the bone for sure. And we're getting that here. So you can get the like end credit scene for Street Fighter when they're beat up and they've lost. I think this is very, very cool and very smart on Jada Toys. If you're a hardcore, if you're a real one in Jada Toys Street Fighter, you should buy doubles of almost all these figures to display these other heads and have like the start and finish of a match. I think that would be the coolest thing ever. I don't think I'm going to do that, but this is so cool. I'm going to pick it up just to see what the fuss is all about. I love the looks of this one. I think it's really smart of Jada Toys. And as I said, I would love to see damaged Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, whatever, heads, Cody Rhodes, Booker T, whoever it may be. I think there's meat for other toy lines to do something like this. I think that would be very fun. We'll see if that ever ends up happening. And now we go over to Sneak Attack Toys. Todd, you ever heard of this thing? You might want to look into it. Sneak Attack Toys, I've never heard of it either. Chuck E. Cheese figures this week, 50th anniversary of Chuck E. Cheese's. Oh my gosh. I was a Showbiz pizza kid. I don't know about you guys. We had Showbiz here, and then this mouse came in named Chuck E. Cheese. I said, wait a minute. What's up with this? And I honestly preferred Showbiz pizza. But Chuck E. Cheese, a milestone character. A lot of people know him. One of the most famous rodents that's not Mickey Mouse, possibly. But if you're looking for Chuck E. Cheese figures, Sneak Attack Toys is the place to be. Not sure I need this one. Not sure. This is one of those ones where Jay's Toys and Games might end up getting it in. I'll see it there in the shop and say, oh, you got me on a weak moment. I don't know. I don't know if I need this. I don't know if I do. But I do need Denver, the last dinosaur from Bull Airs. When's Denver coming? I need that last dinosaur in the collection. With good friend of the channel, Jeff George, of course, co-starred in that. A lot of people don't realize that Jeff George was in that cartoon way back when. Shout out to Jeff George. Hope he's doing well. But we keep on continuing on here. Back to San Diego Comic-Con with Playmates. They're getting all they can out of this license. Blind box turtle figures. You got all different colors here. A whole fiasco. It's a shell game, those blind boxes. I'm glad I'm not completionist. I'm glad this isn't for me. But if it is for you, the last ever San Diego Comic-Con with Playmates Turtles, you better dive into this one here. Speaking of Ninja Turtles, how about NECA? Turtle Van back out there. Of course it is. Of course it is. You got another chance at the Turtle Van. I've talked about this recently with my business hat. Will we see NECA Turtles after this year? Will Mattel say, nope, no more NECA? Going to be interesting. I can see them saying, hey, we better get as much as we can out of this brand while we can. And maybe that's why this Turtle Van's coming back out. Maybe, maybe not. But we also got some other turtles coming to the cartoon line. Cartoon line has slowed down immensely. Now we're back in business with Sailor Raph / Leo, a 2-in-1 figure. Cool. I'll have to pick up 2 of these, of course. And then we got construction version Donnie. Of course, looking like an old Irishman construction worker for Donnie. Got those ones coming. And we weren't done with NECA. Friday, they officially put up for pre-order. It is Jason from, of course, Friday the 13th. Part 9 / video game. A little dancing around licenses there. Coming out the end of the year. Perfect for Halloween unboxing time is what it looks like to me. And now we turn our attention over to the pickleball expert this week. Our friend Todd McFarlane from the couch. Todd playing pickleball like it's his job. And you were playing with Jamie Foxx and his wife or girlfriend or something, and then your wife was there too. I'm a little shocked that Todd, you didn't invite Angie and I, but after the whooping we put on you on the pickleball court about 6 months ago, I understand why you didn't want to invite us to that game. But Todd's been busy playing pickleball. Of course, a pickleball champion just can't beat me and my wife. I get it, but kudos for Todd. You got to get the reps in. You got to get the exercise in. You don't even want to know what my blood pressure was this week. They immediately came up and said, you need to go to a hospital immediately because, Kyle, you're too worked up. You got too much stress in your life. That's what it said. And then I said, you know what? I should be out on the pickleball court with Todd McFarlane. And then I look at my phone, and there's Todd on the pickleball court with Jamie Foxx, of all people. And I felt a little sad I wasn't invited. And then I remembered it's a whole thing. And then I was rushed to the ER and had a heart attack. But I'm here. I'm back. But Todd, not a lot going on this week. Friday, I got a little email. It's the Harley Quinn crowdfunder, easy for me to say. It sounds like it's coming soon. And guess what? I totally forgot all about that. Was that like a year ago we did that? I don't even remember what I ordered. I don't even remember. I remember there was plenty of options. I wasn't going to do it. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I did it. And now I don't know what I'm getting. It's going to be a nice surprise. Dare I say, a Father's Day surprise. Kind of, but not really. It won't come on Father's Day. But just play along. Play along. And that's the toy news. That's the show this week. What are you excited for? Anything good in the toy news for you? Anything you can't live without? What's your San Diego Comic-Con plans? Put it in the comments down below. You made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channels, 2 YouTube channels with content every single day. Check out Patreon, check out YouTube channel memberships to support the channel. Plenty of stuff to keep you busy over there. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which is my email address, but it's also the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, every Tuesday, wherever podcasts are found, with video cast on YouTube. Check out my books while you're at it. It's a great Father's Day gift. And get overnight shipping from Amazon. Do what you want to do. Complete guide to the ECW original San Francisco toy makers. Complete guide to the Jakks Class Superstars series. Available right now. So for another week of the toy news, you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling into a Father's Day weekend dinner with my dad.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
I walk 47 miles of barbed wire. Use a cobra snake for a nickel. Later!